At 30, I had decided that I was going to be celibate and not date anyone in any capacity for 3 years. And then the show called me, and he was a virgin. So I went, all right.
Another challenge accepted.
No.
Okay.
It is a very strange experience to just focus solely on what do you want out of a life partner. And I don't think anyone truly gets that opportunity.
Yeah.
So I would say I came out of it with a very clear picture of what I wanted moving forward. And I'm actually insanely grateful for that, because before the show, your girl picked bad ones.
Guys, welcome to Table for One. We appreciate you stopping by. Please like and subscribe. It would, be very generous of you, and we would appreciate it. We have our guest here, Elyse Dehlbom. Correct?
Yep, you nailed it.
Said it correct. Okay. I want to go through a couple of credentials real quick. Okay. So we have, she is the host of the Sunday Scaries podcast, a case of the Sunday Scaries podcast. Delete that. Sorry.
That's good.
Somebody wrote this wrong.
That's good.
Yeah. A case of the Sunday Scaries podcast. She runs events and, events for multiple restaurants and cocktail bars. We just learned that now. So she's a media savant, Bachelor season 23 alumni, and she also took home the bronze medal in the 2024 Olympics for water polo.
Yes. Thighs of steel.
Is that all right?
No.
Oh, he did all the research.
Yeah, sorry. Sorry, I feel like you just skipped past the big one in the middle.
Huh?
You say a Bachelor contestant?
Well, are they contestants?
Yeah, I mean, we're all fighting for the same guy, so contestant makes sense.
Contestant number one, how are you doing tonight?
Oh, well, it didn't end up well.
Okay.
But I'm happy to be here.
And we can get into that maybe a little bit later.
Sure.
But I did want to ask, are you okay with letting us know your age?
Yes, I'm 37.
Okay.
I will be 38 in August.
Okay, great. And the reason we ask this is because, we want people to tune in, and maybe you get a couple DMs, or maybe somebody says, this is the love of my life. And I want...
Hey, I'm sure her DMs are full, but we will try.
They're not.
Okay.
Well,
you hear that,
they
gentlemen?
won't be much after this, but maybe at a later date, we'll have you on again. So, anyway, so how long have you been in Denver?
I've been in Denver for 3 years. I moved here from Scottsdale, and I'll be honest, I feel like I've been here 3 years, but I haven't even experienced Denver yet.
I guess I don't know how to segue this in, but your thoughts on Denver dating?
Well, I have a confession.
Okay, well, confess.
I've only gone on a few dates in Denver.
That's okay.
When I moved here, obviously I was quite busy and starting a new career. And then I was interested in someone that didn't live here. And so I was in what I thought was a dating potential relationship, turned out to be a situationship.
Okay.
For quite some time, and so now I'm joining the Denver dating.
Okay, well, everybody says it's awesome, so you're in for a treat.
No, they don't.
Okay, yep, they don't.
But I know what they say about it. And I can add that it's tough.
It's tough, okay.
But here's the thing. It's tough in every city.
Okay.
And I think it's tough because we are just... There's dating apps and all of this now that I think that there's a paralysis of choice.
Right.
So for me, if I'm on a dating app, which I just joined in, but if I see someone that says open to short term and you're in your 30s, I'm not swiping anything but go away.
Yeah.
But I do think that it's really hard in this dating age where we have access to people we've never had access to before through social media and dating apps, where it's really different than the generations before us.
It's too much. Yeah.
It's too much.
If I have more than 3 things in the fridge, I'm not eating that day because I can't pick.
I'm ADHD. I don't know. I'm just trying to get through the day.
Yeah, I feel like it presents way more options than there actually is. And then you get that mindset like, oh, I have all these options. Like, I need to find the perfect partner. Nobody's perfect. So
Isaac, this is what Isaac does because I live with him for a little bit.
Okay.
Isaac likes to wait for 3 weeks to respond to a woman on a dating app.
What?
Is that true?
What?
Is that true? I
haven't been on dating apps in a year.
Oh, I know, but like when you were on.
Okay.
Oh, I think that should be an interesting segue.
And then he goes, oh yeah, I just forgot to text her back. Oh, maybe I'll text her back.
It's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. It is a lot of work.
Well, I'll give my... I get it. I can't even fault you for that because I just don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Like my biggest goal in my life, I would say it would be to find a partner for the rest of my life, like to share my life with. I thought that would happen way sooner than now. However, swiping, like it's just, it works for a lot of people, but for me, I look at something and I just go, I don't see how you move through the room, how you interact with other people.
Yeah.
I don't have that.
You see their best parts of them. And then, I mean, I guess you take the chance when you actually go on a date and then you're like, oh, this was a letdown. But maybe it's not a letdown, but I've never ran into that.
I've had good dates, but I'm just saying, I don't think that at this age, I'm not sure if dating apps would work for me. So I get it. Mm-hmm. How do people stay in your mind?
We're going to go into maybe talk a little bit about The Bachelor. Is that okay? Mm-hmm. Okay, fantastic. And you were on season 23.
Years ago, yeah.
It's not that long ago. With Colton. And so I did want to ask, because he's like a masculine man, right? And then he he's played football. You know, Did you ever get the feeling that something was just a little off? And for the viewers at home that don't know, came out after the season. I mean, did you ever feel anything just one-on-one?
I was questioning at the time. I got cast for the show when I was 31. I think he was 26, if I remember correctly. And their big promo behind him was he was the virgin. Okay. And so I had questions whether it was regarding like, is this just like a religious choice? Is it something that he's questioning perhaps? Or is it potentially like a trauma situation? Okay. I didn't know. And so I went into it with an open mind. Of course, like to me, it really didn't matter as far as like the virgin aspect of it all. But I will say post show, now he's happily married. He has a baby. In hindsight, it makes sense. Okay. Makes sense from my experience. And that doesn't take away from like our connection. I think that we got along great as friends, and regardless of his sexuality, I think we would have gotten along the same way.
Do you keep in contact at all?
We've seen each other. I think the first time we saw each other is Stagecoach after the show aired, and we've ran into each other in Denver because he's from here. Okay. And all is well. I wish him the best. Nice. But he certainly wasn't my person. Okay.
Hey, and it happens, you know. Next question. So you self-eliminated yourself. Was there a point in your brain that's like, this is the time I need to do this?
Yeah, I think there was a lot to it. So going into the show, this isn't something that I had set out to do, signed up for, auditioned for. It was very much like, not to be deep, but my sister had passed away at the age of 31. So in August, of August of the year that I was on the show, was when I turned 31. And I said, I'm going to honor growing older than my sister by saying yes for a year. Yeah. One of her favorite shows was The Bachelor. They called me, I think, 2 weeks later, and I hung up on them because I thought it was a prank call. Turns out it wasn't, because none of my friends are rich enough to have abc.com as their email address. And I just took it as, all right, well, I promised myself that I would do this. And I went on it, and it was a crazy experience, but it wasn't something that I was seeking out by any means.
Okay. I feel like a show of that magnitude, it's just wild, right? Did it kind of feel like a fever dream when you were in it?
Not when I was in it, when I came out of it.
Okay.
I think when you're in it, they build such a great environment, I guess is the best way to put it. Some people call it the bubble. But you don't have a phone. You don't have connection with work, family, friends, all of that. You are isolated except for these strangers that become very fast friends, which is other females. And your only focus is on that one guy.
Okay.
That's strange.
Do you feel like you're in an incubator almost? Like it's almost like, pressure cooker. That's why people do fall in love that fast and want more, is because you have no outside distractions.
I think it's kind of twofold. Like, yes, it plays well for the show that you're only focused on that one person, but also I remember one of the creators of the show telling me, he's like, if this doesn't work for you, I promise your next few relationships, you're going to end up married to them, because it's the only time in your life that you are not allowed to focus on work, family influence, friends influence, and people truly, and he was right, have gotten married very quickly after being on the show.
That's so weird. Okay.
Because what other part of your life are you only allowed to focus on what you want out of a relationship?
Mm-hmm. So what'd you learn about yourself then? I mean, why you were kind of wholeheartedly just in that bubble?
I think what I learned about myself is that I wanted to be certainly not in competition with other women for someone's affection. But also more than that, outside like the Bachelor bubble, I just wanted to be known.
Okay.
And I think that's my biggest takeaway, is that in that environment, there's not a big opportunity for the lead to actually know who you are in a way that I would have felt comfortable to move on to get engaged or otherwise.
Okay.
Even if he,
Yeah. Did you, at that point, kind of touched on this a little bit earlier off camera, but you felt like you were making the right and then the wrong decision?
As far as leaving?
Yeah.
It was hard. I actually cared a lot for Colton. Mm-hmm. And because of the nature of the show, I couldn't pass him a note that says like, hey, by the way, you're coming home from a date and then I'm going to leave.
Yeah.
I felt very, very emotionally upset that I felt like I was surprising and like perhaps throwing a friend off course.
Okay.
And I think that's where a lot of the tears came from. Of course, add 17 hours of jet lag and all that into it. But I think the biggest part of me being so upset about leaving was I actually cared for him. And I knew it wasn't the right decision for me to stay.
Yeah.
But it still, it hurt to leave.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But part of you that's grateful for doing it?
Oh my God, absolutely. So at the time that I was on the show, I was a lot older than most of the cast. Mm-hmm. So my best and closest friends aren't necessarily from the season I was on, but it has opened up so many doors. Like I wouldn't even live in Denver if it wasn't for the show, because I moved in with Blake Horseman, who was on the show previous, and I'm very good friends with other people that are just a little closer to my age demographic. But it's opened doors that I never could have anticipated.
Yeah. Yeah. Met some pretty cool people probably.
Mm-hmm. Best friends.
Yeah.
Truly.
That's awesome. You probably can't answer this, but I'm going to ask it.
Okay.
I'm assuming NDA involved, but did you ever feel like pushed towards a direction by a producer?
No, I would say I'm pretty sure they were happy when I was ready to leave.
Okay. Well, even before leaving, was it like, hey, we have a narrative built, like maybe...
No, because to be quite frank, my one-on-one is still truly, and this might sound like I'm giving you a load of BS. It was one of the
BS
best
detector's
days.
going off. No,
It was one of the best days of my life. And the reason for this is I had a sister who was pregnant that passed. We had all these kids around us that were terminally ill, perhaps, and their family was watching us. So what you guys didn't see watching the one-on-one, or the audience didn't see, was all the family that Colton and I could see crying and carrying on and just so happy. So like there was no faking that moment.
Yeah.
I was just, now I'm caught off. What was the question?
Okay. Well, another question I wanted to ask. I mean,
Well, no, go back to the original question so I can actually answer it.
oh, well, let me get back to it right now.
He doesn't even know.
Yes, we're on the thing. The NDA, like narrative, all that. Like it seems
pushing.
like, but you felt.
No, okay. So as far as pushing anything, I think they actually wanted to push Colton and I closer together during the one-on-one, but that's kind of why I cared for him so much, is that we were just really in it.
Okay.
For the other people that were around us in that situation. But did I ever feel pushed to do anything? Perhaps they were happy that I was thinking I wanted to leave.
A little stubborn.
I would say that no one was, from production, no one was crying that I left.
Okay.
We'll put it that way.
Okay. Well.
Can you touch at all about like the circumstance of like now you and all your newfound friends are dating the same guy? Like, is that a jealous environment? Is it toxic at all? Like how?
Good question.
I mean, of course it's competitive.
Yeah.
Let's not, I mean, that's, the environment they create is why they have good TV.
Mm-hmm.
Whether people want to say they're competitive because they want to be the top person they chooses because they're in love with him, or they want the social media aspect, or they just want to be picked.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Could you?
Yeah, there's huge competitiveness that goes into it. And at the time, you don't have, like I said, access to anything outside of that. So for me, as a girl that is very heterosexual, that was the only man that I was focused on the entire time I was there.
He's
so
cute.
did I want to like
cute. He's a cute
elbow out people? Sure.
Yeah.
We all did.
Yeah.
But the competitive factor, factors into why people feel very deeply in a short amount of time.
Do you think there's people that, could you tell the people that went on the show that just weren't interested in Colton at all?
I mean, he was pretty charming. I would say that there's this idea that everyone goes on there for like fame and fortune. Yeah. I would say there was probably, I would even give it 80% of people that certainly wanted that and were cast for the show, but were open to the idea of maybe this is going to be like a great first date story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that
it has to be. It has to be. How was it dating outside the fact? I mean, was your phone blowing up? People knew you. They thought they knew about your life. Like, I'm sure people wanted to reach out to you after. What was it like after you got outside the bubble?
I didn't really get outside the bubble.
Okay.
And the reason for that is I think our show aired and then COVID hit.
Okay.
Like the beginnings of COVID. So we aired in January. I don't remember the year, but COVID really hit in 2020. You guys can fact check me on this. But it was strange. It was really, really, really strange. So I went from being a quote unquote nobody, like no one recognized me, to a redhead in Scottsdale, which already stands out. The only girl that had tan.
Redheads get tan, kind of.
Not me, unless I plaster it on. But my life became very different overnight, and it was very strange. So I had to figure out who I trusted, and then the world shut down. So I think that and even the whole cast of that season, our experience is unique from other like reality contestants.
Okay. Is there one thing takeaway, a learning moment or something from that you can speak on?
Yeah, absolutely. We kind of touched on this earlier, but I think it's interesting that I would say that finding a partner is one of my top priorities. And at that point in my life, I was putting no time towards it before I got cast for that show. And I think that that's why when that producer told me that, like, people get married after this, like, it doesn't matter if The Bachelor is your guy. Mm-hmm. You'll have this new idea of relationships. And he was absolutely right in saying that, because we get caught up in the 9-to-5 and the hustle and like, oh, I want to climb this corporate ladder. I need to give this much attention to my family and aunts and uncle, all that. It is a very strange experience to just focus solely on what do you want out of a life partner. And I don't think anyone truly gets that opportunity. Yeah. So I would say I came out of it with a very clear picture of what I wanted moving forward. And I'm actually insanely grateful for that, because before the show, yeah, your girl picked bad ones.
Yeah. You got a bad picker?
Oh, I did. I did. Yeah. Terrible. In fact, terrible.
Maybe we can get into some examples of that later. But okay. End of the segment. I don't want this all to be about, Bachelor, because this is a dating podcast. But I had to ask because it is an interesting life experience that you go through, I'm sure. So I guess what I want to know is, like, explain, the person you're looking for right now, because you do want to get married. Do you?
Absolutely.
Okay. Fantastic. Who would this would-be person be?
What a question.
Yeah, what a question. I mean, if you have maybe some values or something, or yeah.
I think something that I would like to see in this age of my life, I'll be honest, in my 20s, I very much showed up as whoever my partner needed me to be.
Okay.
And sometimes that wasn't the role that I feel like I'm comfortable with.
Yeah.
Whether that was taking care of finances, all this stuff, all of that. But I think I would just want to be seen and accepted. And a lot of people say that. And I would add the caveat that I want to be celebrated for my weirdness, my moments, but also have someone that calls me in if I step out of line, and we just grow together and have an actual partnership. Because I picked a lot of learning experiences, if we want to put it that way, in my 20s. Some
you got
very,
a bachelor's degree in, no pun intended, but
it's a good pun.
Yeah.
I went through a lot, and I'm really, really excited to be loved the way that I love others.
Okay. And so what is your outlook on it? Do you feel like this person is right around the corner? Do you think it's in your future, nearby? I mean, how do you feel about
Honest?
it? Yeah, honestly.
I don't care.
You don't care?
I have this feeling that I would rather, at the end of my life, share a portion of it with the right person than have gone through marriage and kids and divorce and all that with the wrong person.
Yeah.
So did I ever anticipate being single at 37 years old? No.
Yeah.
No, not even a little. But I would want to walk into the next chapter of my life with someone that I am sure about, and that he's sure about me. And I'm kind of happy I waited, in a weird way.
Okay. Do you think that person is in Denver for you? I know you don't care, but
no.
No? Oh. No? Wow. There's good guys out here. We're trying to tell the women there's good guys out here.
No, that's our pause, because I have to pee so
bad.
Oh,
yeah. Go ahead.
I'm literally sitting here like, ugh.
So, is your person in Denver?
I don't know. I don't know yet. I haven't really dated in Denver yet. I've been on the apps.
Okay.
But I've only gone on a few dates.
You should come to some of our singles events that we put on.
I would absolutely do it.
Okay.
Oh, we'd love that. Yeah. We got some coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whew.
We'll put it on the whole thing. But I have a feeling right around the corner. What do you think about that?
I would love to find love.
Okay. Don't we all?
Yeah.
Give me some non-negotiables.
Well, everyone's going to say, like, I want them to be kind and I want them to be honest. I want to be accepted for exactly who I am and not who I need to present to the public.
Yeah.
I want to not only be accepted, but celebrated.
Yeah.
And I had a great example. I mean, my parents are very polar opposites, to be totally honest. But they've made it work for over 45 years as of this year. And so I hold that to a high regard in who I'm choosing. And I've also been through a lot where I've seen relationships break down because of outside traumas.
Yeah.
I'm not looking for a happily ever after. I'm looking for a partner through this shit.
Okay.
And
It's a good way to put it.
I mean, because life is, can I say curse words?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Effing hard.
That wasn't a curse word.
Life is really, really hard and it's really unexpected. And the great moments are wonderful, but that is not what builds, in my mind at least, a long-lasting relationship. So at this stage in my life, I am not looking for fun and sparks. Sparks go away. That's just sex.
Yeah, I do feel like, people that I've heard from, they're always like, it should be easy with the partner, but life isn't necessarily easy. Like you're going to hit roadblocks and, it's going to be a bumpy road sometimes. And you're just somebody that'll be there for you. I don't always think it's supposed to be a fairy tale the entire time.
I don't think that that's even a realistic aspiration. To even start a relationship on that is insane to me. And to be very, very honest, I had a very big switch of who I was looking for in a partner when my sister was sick.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, this is going to get a little heavy, but I watched how my dad treated my mom through that experience. I watched how her husband took care of her without complaint. To me, that is the love I'm looking for, is that when everything is against you, you never second guess that person's going to still be there. You can have the guy on your arm or the girl on your arm on a red carpet. That's easy. But someone sitting in the hospital with you, that's the comfort that I'm looking for at this stage.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's beautiful. Yeah, I feel like so many, like I've talked to some people and they're like, I just want someone who it's easy with, it's like a fairy tale. And I feel like that doesn't really exist. Every couple is going to go through the hardship and it's about who's going to persevere with you. And
I want to look at my partner and know that there's nothing that I would question about their integrity or their commitment to our partnership that we could not either face or talk about. And I'm not naive to the fact that people fall apart romantically, but that's where the talk about comes from.
Can I, not necessarily off topic, but does faith play a factor in who you're looking for?
I grew up very much, my mom brought us up in a Christian household. My dad, same principles, but without religion. I would say that I don't have, how do I phrase this? I don't have like, oh, you just have to be Christian in the way that I grew up. I'm very open to other things. However, being like agnostic or atheist wouldn't work for me. Being Muslim wouldn't work for me personally. But however, the Christian, I don't even know how to explain it, but like you don't have to be raised or practice the way that I grew up.
Okay.
Because I don't really subscribe to a lot of the way I grew up either.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That happens with everybody, I feel like.
But a belief in something bigger.
Okay.
For sure.
That's all. So somebody that comes together that is an atheist and a believer, it just would not work for you.
It'd be a non-starter.
Okay. And then I wanted to hear a little bit more about the physical type though, like paint out the guy you're looking for.
To be honest, if you, maybe this is
if
like
you're breathing.
the crime podcast girl in me, if you were to do a lineup like in a police station, no one could pick who I was going to choose.
Really? Okay.
I am an equal opportunity dater. I would say the only things that are tough for me is a man of smaller stature than me.
Okay.
Like, if I put my thigh against yours, I want me to be smaller.
Okay. Yeah,
Like I want to feel little and protected.
Protected.
But
yeah.
otherwise, if you're talking about race,
Yeah.
across the board, I've dated everyone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Give me a perfect date.
Nothing to do with the movie. Mine would be very specific. So either it's an activity that's shared, or this is where it's hard to date me. I don't do like, oh, the weather's been so nice. I sit down with someone, and if I feel any sense of like the desire to do small talk, the date is over. I'm not interested.
Ooh. What if they don't know what to talk about?
If you can sit with me and not know what to talk about or feel comfortable talking, then you're not my person.
That's true. Give us an activity, something you'd like hobby-wise. That
Not even hobby-wise. I just want to do like something.
Yeah.
Like going to an amusement park, or just something that I love being taught how to do something. I don't want to go like skydiving or any weird bachelor dates, but
yeah.
but just something outside of sitting in silence, watching a film, going to dinner.
Yeah.
Like, let's get a little creative.
Yeah. Put me on a horse, or something. I don't know. That's the first thing that came to mind. But
I don't need it to be over the top. I can sit there and talk to anybody, but something out of the box, which is one thing that I would like in a partner.
Okay.
Can we pause and I have that shot?
Yeah.
We're gonna do a segment brought to you by our sponsor.
Oh, I love a sponsor.
So we're gonna roll our sponsor real quick. And it's done. Okay, fantastic.
Great.
So this segment is called Sunday Scaries because your podcast is called The Case of the Sunday Scaries. And I'm just going to put out a couple things that might give you the Sunday Scaries. You can let me know if you've ever done these, or you could take a drink, or you don't even really have to take a drink. You could just not answer them because we're not pushy here. The first one would be: woke up and have no idea where your car is.
Oh, what is it if I have done that? Take a drink?
You could just say yes, or if you don't want to answer it, you can
100% yes, and I will take a drink so I don't have to
respond. You can take a drink with every yes. So this will be an interesting podcast. Have you ever done that? No?
I'm getting that puppy home. It doesn't matter the conditions.
I will say this. Thank God for that, like where you parked your car thing on maps on the iPhone. Savior.
Okay, here's the next one. Been the drunkest one at a party where you have to send a couple apology texts the next day.
Probably.
Okay.
I mean, yeah probably.
Been a while for me on that one. Yeah, thankfully.
One time a gal asked me to go to a wedding, and it was like said like as a +1, and we hadn't talked in a while, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm back in. And then I got really drunk. I had a fake ID, and then I was
At a wedding?
Yeah, at a wedding, I got
can't
really
do that.
drunk, and then I went out, and she drove her. This was like, I had to be like 20. And she drove her brother's car. And I got so drunk that they laid me down in the car. And then I threw up in the brother's car. And then they drove me home. And I was like living with my parents at the time. And then I woke up just like remembering everything. It was terrible. And I was like, hey, do you want me to come clean that up? I was in no way, shape, or form to clean that up. And they were like, we already did it. Don't ever talk to me again. I was like, oh,
yeah. Maybe my friends are just more forgiving than yours, but I have certainly never done that.
This is a gal that like gave me another chance.
What about you?
I've got a good Joe story, but I should probably save that one.
Which one is it?
The toilet one.
Yeah. I fell asleep on a toilet one time.
I mean, he is in charge of editing, so.
We had to drag him off, and he started throwing punches at us. And yeah,
I'm not apologizing for that. I was trying to go to the bathroom, all right?
For an hour while sleeping.
Okay, all right. Nice.
Hey, we've all done bad things.
Okay, what about woke up next to a fine gentleman and you just can't remember his name?
No.
Okay.
But can I elaborate on that?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Just to make you feel better. Mm-hmm. In my very, very early 20s, like just allowed at the bar, I might have been so intoxicated that I went home with a boyfriend and, how do I say this? Peed the bed and blamed it on him.
Yeah, that's a go-to.
So maybe I haven't woken up next to someone I didn't know, but in that moment he woke up to someone he didn't know, which was a liar.
I spilled my water.
I've had a friend do that.
No, I just said it was you. How dare you do this?
That's some primetime gaslighting. I had a friend do that exact same thing.
Yeah, this is our one friend.
It's the only time I've ever done that in my life, but.
This is our one friend, and he, slept over with a gal. They both peed the bed, though, in previous times.
Yeah, they both were known for it.
This is a reoccurring offense.
Yeah. Maybe we should cut that.
Maybe you should cut that.
Any of this.
You can cut all of that.
Okay, so let's do this. Called or texted an ex you swore you would never reach out to again.
So many times and sober.
Oh, sober.
Oh, no.
Here's the problem that you guys never have to face. PMS.
Oh, okay.
There's a whole week that before your period even comes that you're in your feels. You guys just get to live your life 4 weeks of the month.
Yeah.
We go psychotic 1 week of the month and then are in pain for the other. That is not a setup for kindness through text messages.
Okay.
So no alcohol involved. I've absolutely sent regrettable messages. Sober or unsober.
Okay. Well, gotcha. What about gotten Taco Bell or any fast food at 2 a.m. and then really just went after it? Is that a Sunday scary?
I left it on the patio.
Oh.
Ordered it from Uber Eats and left it there and fell asleep.
Yeah. And that's, you know what? Everybody's done that. So what about saying good karaoke you thought, and then you see a video the next day, and it is not that at all?
I don't sing karaoke. My biggest fear is to ever sing in public.
Okay.
I'm with you. I've been signed up a couple times for Star Spangled Banner against my will.
Why is that the choice they choose for you?
Must be a Montana thing.
Yeah. I did it once as a joke, and then my friends thought it was funny, so they just, anytime we went to a karaoke bar, would sign me up.
You ever hear them boo the Star Spangled Banner in America? Probably not, unless Isaac sings it.
I've been booed, doing that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I will say that we've had non-public karaoke nights at my house.
Okay.
There's a lot of Disney songs and Celine and Whitney that none of the notes are hit. But in public, absolutely not.
The pitch is off. It must be the sound system because it can't be you.
It can't be me.
It can't be you. All right. Well, that's the end of the segment. Thank you, sponsor. We appreciate you. All right. We have Elyse Dehlbom here. She's the host of A Case of the Sunday Scaries podcast. Okay. So past relationships we were going to dive into just a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
Is there, and I don't necessarily know, obviously, all of your background, right? But could you maybe give us a couple and maybe what you learned from it?
For sure.
Yeah.
So, for people, not to do like a selfless plug, but on my podcast, I ended up deciding to share my story because unfortunately I was in a relationship that was not healthy. And it's not in the way that, to be honest, I hate all of the like, he's a narcissist, he's a this is all this diagnosis on social media. Stop. But I was actually in a very, very abusive relationship that only crossed the physical boundary once, but
that's all it takes.
Yeah. And so I've shared part of that story that I'm comfortable sharing on my podcast. But I will be honest that in my 20s, I took care of a lot of men. Yeah. And when I say that, it's not, I think people go to like, oh, she must have daddy issues. My dad is my best friend, truly. He was an amazing example of what a dad should be for a partner. Unfortunately, I had experiences. Are we going to go deep?
Sure.
Yeah.
We can. Yeah.
I had experiences that my parents didn't know about that shaped my idea of sexuality and dating and all of that that had nothing to do with parents. And so I just want to say, like, sometimes it's not your childhood. Yeah. Because my childhood was, I'm going to say it, fucking great. Because I have really, really great parents.
Effing great.
No, literally, fucking great.
Yeah.
My parents were unbelievable. Like, to this day, to say my dad is one of my best friends, my mom and I get along great, that's a blessing. But I chose partners that reflected the trauma that I went through that was unbeknownst to other people. So I chose someone in my very early 20s, got engaged to him even.
Same.
Wow.
Didn't want, really?
Oh, go ahead.
No. Let's talk about it.
No, let's talk about you. This is your.
No,
podcast.
it's a podcast.
No, I really don't want to.
Okay. I said yes because I was on top of a hill, and I thought if I say no, I'll be at the bottom of this hill.
Okay.
If you don't mind me saying this, I think that it is really important to talk about the fact that you can still have a good childhood upbringing. Yeah. And people always want to do like the Freudian thing of, oh, you picked the man because he has daddy issues. Mm-hmm. No, my dad's my best friend. We were literally on the FaceTime today, like trying to figure out why my sink is leaking. But sometimes what you see in yourself is reflective of who you choose. Because I chose horrible people because I felt maybe I was better than them.
You could
and
fix.
I could take care.
Maybe fix. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
Take care of the kids, take care of them,
yeah,
and all that. And I think that that's something that's not talked about enough, is that it's not always this childhood thing. It's seeking out comfort.
Yeah.
Well, could I ask? So I want to ask one question and then one about your pod. But could we do worst date that you've ever had?
Oh, give me context because I can give you categories. I've been on some horrific dates.
Okay. Something that. Okay, let's keep it a little lighthearted. It was so bad, but not so bad to where you couldn't tell your friends.
I tell my friends everything.
Okay, well, give us the worst one then. Yeah.
I'll do like the quickest breakdown.
Okay.
I have walked out on a date.
Yeah.
In the middle of like appetizers coming to the table. that was, and you asked a brilliant question
that's gotta be
about
hard.
religion. He told me my sister died because of her sins.
Oh no.
And I stood up and left the room.
Oh my
Wow.
God.
I have never.
Before appetizers?
The appetizer, it was just like a little olive tray.
Oh.
Got set down and he said, well, you believe the same thing I believe, that your sister must have sinned for all that. We don't need to go into it. That's the only
pretty bad
time
one.
I have stood up and walked away from a date.
Oh, it's a good
That's
reasoning.
valid. Yeah,
Good
that is
reasoning.
valid. That's fully valid.
As far as other dates, I would say I was the idiot, not them.
Okay. Oh. Well, hey, you know what? No, you weren't. You were perfect. All right, we're gonna go to the next.
It's so kind.
Okay, let's just talk a little bit about a case of the Sunday Scaries, because I want to know why you started it.
Sure. So I grew up in Alaska, which I had like a town of 2,500 people. I was safe, comfy, cozy. My sister moved to Spokane, Washington, and her roommate and her roommate's best friend got brutally murdered. You thought you asked me on this podcast to have a good time. And when I say brutally, I mean to the point that our family didn't know who the girl was that was in the house. And then he let fire to the whole house.
Oh no.
The good news is
there good news?
my sister's alive.
Yeah, it's
No,
good. Yeah, somebody's alive.
But this is what struck me talking about things or thinking about this. So the first episode of my podcast is telling the story of what happened to my sister. And then the like cliffhanger is talking about PTSD.
Yeah.
So I always want to not like do gore and grit. It's more so I experienced it firsthand through her. And I want to bring awareness to what happens to the community around these topics.
Yeah.
And also, to be honest, use it as a place where it's digestible social content of mine.
Yeah.
As far as political and mental health stuff that people that wouldn't otherwise listen to me talk will digest.
It's good. You brought it around. Okay. That's good. That's good. Well, I mean, at least, reasoning for doing it, I would say. Maybe, since you've been doing podcasting, a bit of advice for a couple fellas over here that are trying to make it in the cold
We're doing
world.
our best out here.
Same. But advice for you?
Yeah.
I think you have to create a niche. And when I say that, you have to have a story or at least a desire to share other people's stories.
Okay.
And it's very, very easy to like promote things where it's clickbait and all of that. But if you do it the right way, I mean, let's be honest. Oprah is a Black woman, the first billionaire.
No.
And she just talked.
Yeah.
And said, like, I'm not going to be Jerry Springer. But in this day and age, I think that you have to have a spin and have to be able to relate to your audience and relate to whoever you're interviewing and decide what that niche is going to be.
Okay.
For me, I wanted it to be really, really heavy conversations.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. I'm just playing with my hands.
Really, really heavy conversations. That's not for everyone. And also will never make me famous.
Yeah. Okay.
But
Yeah.
What do you think about us so far? I mean, or what do you think about the Table for One so far? Are we on the right track?
I'll go.
You can be honest.
I am. I will go on your next live dating show.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
You would?
That'd be great. We should do that. We should do that.
Mark that down.
Yeah,
We're doing
okay.
that. We're doing that. I'm sure
Fantastic.
the guys will go flooding in when we if we make that official.
Too hard on yourself. Last question here. We ask everybody at the end of the interview, why are you a catch, Elyse?
Because I know myself insanely well. And what I value in myself, I will celebrate the differences in others tenfold.
Yeah.
I'll make a king out of a man.
Ooh, God, I'm trying to be king.
To be honest, that's my answer.
Thank you so much for coming on. Anything you want to plug right now, or
Plug the podcast. Yeah, we'll tag it.
It's a little bit different of a narrative, but Case of the Sunday Scaries. Yeah. It's on Instagram. I mean, every streaming platform you can think of. I will do a little dive that we are about to dive in to the Chris Watts case, which is a case I desperately did not want to cover, but the audience really wants me to. So part 1 is going to launch on this Sunday.
Okay. All right.
All right. And hopefully you don't have to be talking about Isaac on there, you know.
Not yet. I've been staying pretty low key thus far.
He's got the Saturday Scaries. Anyway, thank you so much, Elyse.
Yes, thank you, Elyse, for coming on. We
Never
really
include
appreciate
that
it.
after Chris Watts. Kill his fucking kids.
Oh, is that the guy in Colorado?
Yes.
Oh, fuck.
Don't
Okay.
include any.
All right.